Sorry, I feel like I'm running late today. Let me get my microphone sorted and my website sorted. But let me know if you're watching the replay. Good morning from Australia. Good evening right there in the USA. And let me know where you're watching from as you join in our live today. So, making sure I've got us on the right page, and here we are. We have got Olive not barking this morning because she's in her crate. And as you can see by my table here, we've got a bunch of the new fall collection. So if you're using my, if you wanted to purchase any of this, it is ready on Saturday to drop. The whole fall bundle 2025. Fall is almost here. Well, the collection's here. So we're excited about that. Use the code IRestoreStuff to save yourself 10% on any of the things that I'm showing you today. That will launch on Saturday. Now, ambassadors have been showing this week all of the bundle. And in case you missed any of that, I'll do a quick run through. We have a complete transfer bundle. So I've got 4 lots of transfers that will be available there. The link is right there in the description of the live. And also it's going to be in the pinned comment once we get our comments activated here. I am not, oh, there they are. I just had to click on all comments. It was just putting one up there. Okay, hi Kimberly, Laurie's here, Suzanne, hi Brenda, Linda, Diane. So exciting to see everybody here. What is Facebook doing? Just going to make sure it's rolling through the comments. Sometimes it just does weird things. All right, so let's have a look at the fall collection. Who's excited for fall? I know we had the primitive launch a couple of weeks ago, and you guys snapped that up. It was such a beautiful collection. I'm still wanting to use more of those. We have got some more word stencils in this fall collection. So I'll show you those first. I know those are really popular. And as always, you can usually purchase the stencil sets individually, or you can save an extra, I don't know, 20-25% or something if you buy the entire bundle. Plus you get the savings of using my code IRestoreStuff there, 10% off there. So, good morning everybody, good evening everybody. I keep forgetting it's not morning where you live. Fall farm signs. It's got 4 different ones: pumpkin patch, hay rides, corn maze, and apple cider. It's cute, that size, whatever that is, 8 by 3. And these ones are all different. They're 1-inch full words, so I guess that means they're 1 inch in height, maybe. So the letter height, not the stencil height. We've got a whole bunch there, 20 different fall signs. So from everything from scarecrow to thankful and corn maze, autumn, family, cozy, all sorts of words like that. So this is the fall collection. If you see that, I'm still not seeing comments come through. Let me just switch something out on here. Make sure I can see. Paula's watching from Michigan. Did I get that right? No. NM. Oh gosh, I don't know my states because I'm from Australia. So you can't expect me to. Oops. Making sure this is sitting right, everybody. Hang on a second. MN. New Mexico? Is that a state? Oh my gosh, I'm not showing my geography very well. Kimberly, you're excited for this release. I know. Tracy can't wait to order the bundle. All right, I've already pulled this one out of its packet. This is the Oh Good Gravy. So we've got Oh Good Gravy, we've got fresh baked pie, and then there's a cute stencil of a turkey. So you've got that one there. All right, so that's another set. It's a 3-piece set. This bundle is quite huge. It's great. We've got woodland silhouettes, so the little pack of 6 silhouettes, that size. We've got a little fox, a deer, hedgehog. We've got the full family football. So football season, autumn leaves. We've got football pattern. There's a football field on there, guys, and a truck. is a truck with footballs in the back. A whole bunch of stencils in that one. Those are the minis. And then we've got two this size, which is 8 by 10. Now these are cute. I've got a few signboards like this that I've made from just plywood that I've made in around about that size. So these will fit perfectly for this kind of a set. And we've got, there's always something to be thankful for. I think I might use that one today. I'm actually going to use that on a round because I'll show you what we're going to do to the sides of that. Jump in the leaves, great one. We can always, you know, multicolour these leaves in some beautiful autumn colours. Oh, this one is also the same size, 8 by 10, and it is cute crows. So there's two different designs of the crows, and I wanted to use this one today on this. Again, this size is perfect for this one. Oh, NM, not MN. New Mexico, yeah. So I think I said New Mexico, didn't I? That's great. I guessed right. Oh my goodness. How do I know these things? Now, listen, if I asked you guys to name all the states of Australia, how would you go? I thought so. And there's only 7. Well, there's 5 states, 2 territories. Bit of geography there for you. The two crows have 2 different designs. So I'm going to choose from those. So if you want one in particular, let me know in the comments when we come to that stencil, that project. Harvest Time, spelling the word time like the herb, and that is cute as well. That's a 16 by 7. This one is 16 by 8. Fall is for football, and this has the etching for a round. So you could do it on a rectangle or you could do it on a round, and the bottom half of the round has the football and leaves and pumpkins and that kind of fall harvesty feels. We've also got 'Tis the Season, and you've got your fall icons here, football, fall leaves, pumpkin, and of course a pumpkin spice latte, or you could make it whatever you like. You could even put a little coffee cup there and use that one for other things. So I'm sure we've got a coffee set somewhere that there would be a tiny little coffee icon like this big that you could sit inside there. It's given me some ideas. How about you? Yes, Jodie's anxious to see those crows. Yes, I can't wait to do that one. This one, I was thinking about doing this one today, but I'll leave it for this week. We've got so many projects on the go. Football turkey, isn't that cute? So this one's a layer, so you put the layer here and you can see the football shapes making up the feathers of the turkey. And then it's a 2-piece set, so then you would put the football line markings and the turkey face over the top of the dark there, just like it's shown in the picture. See, we've got a picture there for your benefit to help you do that. Now we've also got this one, which is a long one. It is 16 by 8, The Gathering Place, and I'm going to be using that one today on a board over there. I've got 3 projects. I'm going to see how many I get done. Then we've got these cute patterns that round out our fall collection bundle. That's the stencil bundle. And then we've got our transfer bundle. So there's some beautiful transfers this month coming up. Now we have the Autumn Flowers transfers, and I believe this one will be on sale even especially. They've done a discount on this one, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And then we've got the Autumn Harvest, beautiful truck transfer design. We've got, hang on, is that one? It's 2. There's 2 trucks in there, guys. Autumn Market has a pink truck. So there's 2 transfers in that one. All of the transfer images are on the website right there for you to have a look at. Hello, Angel and Tammy and Bobby. Thank you so much for jumping on and saying hello and where you're from. I always love to see. That sunflower and doodle background is so pretty. I missed it. Oh, yes, there it is. Yes, that one. The stencil. It is really pretty. I like it. You could put so many different colours in that. Then we've got this cute one is Fall Forest Gnomes. Okay, so we've got gnomes in this one, 2 sheets of gnomes and fall, and there's a couple of little critters in there, a tiny weeny hedgehog and a little squirrel, some pumpkins. So these are the transfer sets, 4 different transfer sets. And this one, burgundy and rust florals. And among the florals, you'll see some butterflies. So we've got, there's the rust colours, and then of course there's another sheet in there which has the burgundy colours there. So And so this one, I wanted to show you this. I'll show you on my screen. So there was just a slight manufacturing printing error when this particular set was done. And so they have, I will show you what I mean. So sometimes there's just a little bit of white left within the design. And so there was just a couple of places here, and I think over here, that there's just a little white spot coming up in the design. And so they're going to be putting that one on sale, and you will see that on the website on Saturday. Saturday is the launch day, which is so exciting. But yes, it'll work perfectly on a white background. And in fact, I'm going to use this one today, which is one of the ones that has the little white space left in it. I think I'm going to use that over on my fall sign that I'll be making today. So let me just move some of these out of the way so that we can get our project started. Get them all back in size order. Okay, but yes, that's a great lot of stencil bundles coming your way. Don't forget to use the code on Saturday. I restore stuff. Oh, what do we start with? I might start with this big, easy one here. The Gathering Place. Now, I had this signboard that I originally bought from a thrift store, and I better make sure I've got it up the right way, otherwise I'll have to move my hook. So I'll turn it this way for you guys so you can see it up the right way. And I painted it white. Now, the sides I just left and they're stained black. And then the Gathering Place is just so cute, and it will look great with the black and white check. So I'm going to get my black paint, and again, I've forgotten something. Just need to grab my cardboard, offloading pieces of cardboard, because as you know, with stenciling, we need to just offload our paint onto a surface so that we don't have as much on our brush. Yes, the turkey stencil has footballs behind it as its feathers. Isn't that cute? Just the cutest. Hello everybody. Just making sure we've got, okay, I might have to point you down a little bit so we can see our live going on here. This is tricky. There we go. Oh, Velma, you've got an issue with the stencils. You can email support@essentialstencil.com if you've got something that you've ordered or there's something wrong with your order. So I couldn't read all of that in time, but yes, here we go. We've got our stencils ready, and I'm going to find a brush, 3/4 inch brush, and we'll get our cardstock ready to offload our black paint onto, and we'll create this cute checkered thing across the top and the bottom. Now you see that my board is actually a lot longer than what the stencil is. I didn't bring my painter's tape out here either. And so I'm going to see if we can make that extend either end, but I think sometimes when I'm doing extensions on stencils, I'll start at one end and then continue it with the stencil over to the next end. But what I think I'm going to do today is, because that part of the stencil, they're all close together with the letters, to save me taping it all off and so on, I think I will just, I've got dust, little dust particles getting in my way. I'll put it in the centre, and that width is perfect. This is a 8-inch in width and 16 this way. So my actual board here must be 18, I'm guessing. All right, so just going to show you some basic stenciling tips. And if you are brand new to stenciling and have never had a go at stenciling, why don't you let me know in the comments. I'm going to just see if we can point this a little closer to the project we're working on. And let us know in the comments, because we are only too happy to help you on your stenciling journey. Now I offload the paintbrush as much as I can, and oops, looks like we need to point that up slightly. Okay. Offload it as much as you can, and then we can load it onto the stencil using just a swirling motion. Because I've got hardly any on the brush, actually, I need to offload a bit more. I want hardly any on the brush. Now I'm just being very careful. I should really tape that off, or you could just place a piece of cardboard like this on the sides there so that it doesn't accidentally get on your edge. And then I can go over it. See how I offloaded and then I offloaded again so that I hardly have anything on the brush. I'm going to keep going on to these black checks until my brush starts to run out of paint. And you'll just notice the design getting maybe a little bit more faint and not as bold. But we're still going strong here, all the way across here. Now we're starting to get a little bit less. I don't know if you can see that, a little bit less on the brush. So I go back to my same piece of cardboard where I've still got a little bit more on the brush, and we'll see if we can get more on these little bits. No, not quite enough. It was a bit too dry. So then I dip it back into my lid of the paint, offload a bit more. So the fall transfer set, if you've just joined us live now, the fall transfer bundle and the fall stencil bundles will be available on August 2nd, which is this Saturday. Only a few days to go. And you can use my code IRestoreStuff. To save an extra 10%. So usually when you grab the whole bundle, they are a big saving as it is. Now let's go into the words part of the design. Someone said they usually stay up late on midnight, on the Friday night. Yes, it does go live at midnight, but you won't miss out if you wait till the morning, I promise. Well, I'm pretty sure they usually get a good idea of how many bundles they need. Okay, so now we're going over nice and swirly, and it just kind of makes the paintwork, the stencil, a little bit more even in its coverage when you do some swirling like this, as opposed to stippling. Stippling tends to leave a little bit too many little dots for me anyway, but you might find that that works for you better. But if you are brand new to stenciling, so it's midnight, I don't know what Arizona time is, but it's CST, so Central Standard. If you're in daylight time, I guess it's Central Daylight Time, is when usually, you know, because we usually advertise our lives are 7 p.m. CST or daylight time in the Central time zone. So is that Arizona? Maybe it is. Seems to me like Arizona is pretty central, right? How much is the new transfer ball bundle? I guess you will see that if you just click on that link that takes you to the website. I didn't memorise how much everything was, so I'm sorry about that. Plus, sometimes I see mine in Australian dollars, and you don't want that because it'll look more expensive. Make sure your site is in US dollars. But yes, the prices and everything you get in it will all be there on that link that's right there in the description of the live, and it's also in the pinned comment. You'll see Essential Stencil has pinned a comment to the top of that, to the top of the comment feed there. Margaret asking about the brushes. Should they be pliable? The ones I have are really stiff. Oh, that's unusual. Maybe just give them a wash with a little bit of detergent, I guess. I use Fusion's brush soap, and it really conditions the bristles. But they are supposed to be fairly stiff because you don't want them too bendy and pliable, or they won't work as a stencil brush. But they do, the end is fairly pliable. You can see the wiggle room on my brushes. So yeah, maybe it's just if they're new, Add a little bit of, give them a bit of a wash in water first and then have a go once they're completely dry. So if you're brand new to stenciling, if you've never done it before, we've got tutorials on the website, but we do go live here every weeknight. And so ambassadors are here to help you and guide you on your way. But if you are brand new, I suggest practicing on a piece of cardboard. So just grab some cardstock, get a small stencil and a stencil brush, and take advantage of all the YouTube tutorials that we've got, all the tutorials we've got here and on the website, essentialstencil.com, at the link provided there in the comments. You'll see some there. So this one is in the full bundle, gathering place. This would make a cute sign for a dining room, kitchen area. That's usually the gathering place in our home. Well, it was when the kids were growing up. Even the dining table was a place where everyone did their homework and all of that kind of thing as well. Oh, good question. Someone was asking about the pre-order this time, or is it live immediately? They've been shipping immediately lately, and I'm pretty sure that's the same as this time. But Essential Stencil will correct me if I'm wrong. Should be on that link on the website, I would think. The info. Release date is Saturday. Get ready. Get excited. Okay, so now that I've done my whole piece, I can just kind of look over it, see if there's any other parts that I want to, you know, go over if they're not quite solid black enough. If I want them filled in a little bit more, I can do that. And then I'm going to lift it up and we'll extend these little black checks. Okay, so I'll just move this across so we can do this side first. And ta-da, there we have some nice crisp lines there. So the stenciling, the reason we've got nice crisp lines is we have hardly any on the brush. We've you know, wiped off as much as we could there. Now I do see where it's just on the edge where my little brush went over, so I can just easily sand those off. They're not too bad. So now what I want to do to extend these here is I want to make sure that I get one of the black squares, and then I want to make sure it's coming off there on both sides. So I've got the top one, I've lined that up, and then I'll line that bottom one up. And then we can go on with our pattern. Now, it may come off slightly off the end. The bottom one is, but the top one isn't. And then we can extend that. Now, I do have to make sure that, see this G for gathering? It's very close to those squares, and I don't want to make another G right there. That wouldn't be good. So extend that, and then up here again, if you had some words that were close, just making sure those don't come off. So we've just lined up our letters, our squares there. Let's see. So now that's going off that side, and then we can extend it over here. You could even add a little something here, but I think it looks great just like that. And then making sure it's going off, we want to add the black squares there and the black squares on the top. And we are far enough away from that G where it doesn't matter. I'll just see if I've got enough left on the brush. Maybe not, so we'll just add a touch more using our offloading cardboard. So 3 little squares there to finish off this piece. And then these 3 or 2.5 squares on the top. And that's how you just round out or finish off. Just making sure that they're all similar coverage. This one I feel like it is just a bit too light. So the other ones I went over them twice. And so these ones at the end kind of stand out a little bit because they're a bit light. So just cover them a little bit more. Line up our bottom ones. These ones aren't too bad. There we go. And now we have our gorgeous sign, The Gathering Place. You can see that there. And then I'll start on our next one. Now, should we do the crows? Let's do the crow next. Since I've got my black paintbrush out, I'll do the black crow and pop this one aside, ready to wash after. And here's our Gathering Place sign. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that out to the side, but we'll leave it there. And I've got my cloth. Here's our little crows. So we've got 2 crows here. I'll pop that brush in the wet cloth just for time being. And the crows do have a couple of bonus, so they're not all just the black crow. You've got a layer that you can put on top. Now, those of you who are sometimes a little bit intimidated by doing some of the layering stencils, that may have 3 or 4 layers. Well, this one's just got 2 layers. Same with that turkey and football round we saw that I showed you earlier. When you've just got 2 layers, it's often a lot easier. So you could make these 2 little crows as a set, side by side, like they've got on the picture. Or you could just do one off. You could even put them on the same board. So I'll show you the different ones, and you can tell me in the comments, because I've only got one board right now. Do you want me to do the flying bird, the flying crow, which is this one here, or should we do the standing up crow? What do we call them? Flying, standing. So comment flying for this one, standing for this one. So we've got 2 different crows there, and then we've got these other layers. Oh, it's 3 layers, right? So this would be, oh, I see. We've got like a little grey area or white to go to do his eyes, and then this one is for, oh, so this one is just for this guy. So this one's for this guy, and this one is for this guy. Gotcha. So there's 2 layers each. That's the layer for this one. This is the layer for the standing one. So flying or standing, what are we seeing? Standing, standing, standing crow, flying, standing up. They're both so cute. Someone can't decide. Standing. It looks like standing is winning, guys. Flying. I've seen the standing one done twice already. Sherry, really? Oh, we might have to do the flying if everyone's already seen the standing one being done. Twice already. Who's been doing that? So the ambassadors must have been doing some of those. I didn't see Amanda or Melissa doing them. Maybe Tammy's done one. Standing. Oh, there's a lot of people who want to see the standing one. Look, we'll leave the standing one today only because someone said they've seen it. Oh no, we can't. The comments have voted for standing. We're going to have to do standing, and we will have to watch our little flying bird another time. So the flying one, you could just use the grey paint to do his feathers like they've done in the example. You use a bit of white for the whites in his eyes, and then you'd use an orangey colour for his beak. So let's have a look at our standing crow. He is very cute, and we are going to make sure he's equal distance around the edges. My board isn't exactly the same size, it's a bit longer. You could even add the crow right down to the bottom and add a little word at the top. What would suit for a word, even from our words here? I don't know if there's something here. Pumpkin patch, hay rides, corn maze, apple cider. Some of them might fit. Doesn't quite suit the crow. We've got gather, thankful, grateful, fall, corn maze, scarecrow. Oh, scarecrow. That kind of fits. It could be a scarecrow. Oh, fly away. Oh, Barb hasn't seen anyone do them. No one's seen them. Okay, we'll do the standing one. The crows are adorable, aren't they? They are so cute. But you could fit one of these words at the top. Like I think corn maze would be fun. Scarecrow, you could even do harvest. But since it's a crow, I think scarecrow would be a cute little word to put at the top. So if you wanted to, you could just make yours go a little bit lower and then add the word up the top. So we'll decide on that later. But for now, we've just got these 2 layers. The other 2 layers are for the other crow. And I'm going to use my black brush here. Because I've already got a black paint on this one, I'm going to use this one. But you could use the extra big one, which is the 7/8 inch, to just fill in all of that space there. But let's see how much I can fill in just using this here. And what I've done, I'll leave a blob on here because I don't want it too much. I'm going to hold my hand really tight on here so that it doesn't move everywhere. And we're going black all over. Yes. So we're going to add a lot of that black on the inside. Oh, I could have done lots more because there's no need to offload my brush when there's all this space that I can fill it. It's just that we need to be careful around the line markings and where the edges are. So now that I've got most of that off the brush, I'm just going to go in from the edges all the way around here. And now be careful of his little wing, because let me lift that up. See that with my finger? I can lift that up there. It's very flimsy, so you don't want to be doing swirling motions around that. We have to be very careful with his wing. And so I'm just going to go really nice and gently around the wing area, sort of pouncing. I don't want to swirl too much. And then coming in from the edges, around those edges. So here's his wing. We'll go around, we can do some swirls on his feet. And then this is another wing out to the side here. And again, this little piece can move if you're not careful. Get a little bit more of that black on my brush and just going, pouncing and just going along with the line of the wing. Now I'll add a bit more on my brush. Danette says, I love it all, can't wait to buy the whole collection. Everyone thinks the scarecrow word is a good idea. We might have to do that. And he doesn't look like a very scary crow, does he? Getting rid of paint off the brush in those big areas, and then sort of got a bit of pouncing going on. Look, if you wanted to, you could go over this again with another coat, but I can see some little, because often on the first coat you'll see sort of little scratchy lines and line markings and things like that. But to me, I don't know, maybe I'll just leave it like that. We could go over a second coat, but it kind of gives a feathery look, maybe. I'll take it off and see what you think. Making little line markings and drawings with our stencil brush. And just being super careful, because remember that is really, just be really gentle with that wing line. Okay, we'll take that off. Now we've got our cute little crow outline. Very cute. And that's almost dry, but we'll just hit that with the hairdryer. The Fusion Mineral Paint dries really quickly, and I'm using Fusion today. I've got Casement is the white, which is one of their whitest whites on the backgrounds of my sign, and then Coal Black is a really quite a true black, and that's what I'm using for the black. So I'm not sure if you can see that up close, is the little lines and things in the crow's feathers. I don't know. We could just make it look rustic. So I'll pop that over here. I could put it in a plastic bag or a wet cloth. And then we'll do white for the eyes and then this orangey colour. Now the orange that I found in Fusion, it's not really an orange, it's more like a rust brown kind of colour, chestnut mare, but I thought that would work great for the beak. So, oh gosh, now I can't get my lid off. Now, sorry about the big noise. We slam and then it comes off. So it just has to break the seal. Otherwise you could sort of use a knife or something underneath the seal. Now, a little tiny smaller brush for the eyes. I might even use for the eyes one of our, so if you haven't seen them, I'm pretty sure they've restocked all the brushes. Oh, I must have the others out, probably being washed right now. There's 4 of them, 4 of these brushes, and they are really nice soft bristle brushes. So we'll probably use something like, maybe this one would work great for the eyes. It's smaller than even our smallest regular stencil brush. These are natural bristle brushes, that's a 1/2 inch. But with these you can get into those really small places, and they're very, they've got a nice soft dome lid, what do you call it? Tip. Okay, I'm going to put this back down so I can kind of get an idea of where it should go. I guess you can just guess. There's no markings or anything, but if I'm looking, I'm sort of going by the picture here, and you can see that you would put it partway between there and the wing, maybe a little bit more to this side, is how they've got it. And it probably wouldn't matter if I just left the bird stencil on here, just to give me a better idea. Or you can just take it off and do it without. So, but this way you could kind of move his head, so he's turned his head a little bit further that way, or turned it closer to looking this way. So let's just go with that. Now we'll use our white casement first for the eyes, and then I'll go and do the orange. Oh, and I did have this one open. Chestnut Mare is the name of the colour. Yeah, it's a lovely autumn fall colour. There's Chestnut Mare and Iron Clay are 2 of Fusion's really nice fall colours. Tracy's loving the crow. Okay, so I've got my little dome brush here. This is the 8/25th brush. And I'm just going to make sure that's all blended in there. Getting his beady eyes on. Hopefully I've got this in the right spot. I'm doing it upside down. Just need to turn it around and let me have a little look. That off. And oh gosh, you could do it both ways too. This is the way. This is the way. Okay. I think that's a good spot. I'm just got to estimate a little bit. Dab that in again and just gently dabbing the whites of his eyes. There we go. Very cute. And now, let's see if I could do this large one here. Might be easier to get to. Demonstrating these brushes today, looks like. Just a bit on the end, but I do want to offload a bit of that. And these ones a little bit more for dabbing, I think, rather than the swirling so much. So we're just going to bring that in from the edges. And we probably will go over with a second coat. So what I'll do is just get the hairdryer and blow that dry. Yes, you can use any paints you like. You don't have to use the fusion paints, but they are an acrylic-based paint, and so they were made to adhere really well to furniture. And so that's what I do, is paint furniture and upcycle home decor. And so because I'm a retailer for the fusion paints here in Australia, I love using them for my signs. And yes, you can get the fusion paints also in the USA and Canada. They come shipped from Canada, but they are 100% acrylic based, and you can use my code I Restore Stuff and save 10% at the fusion link that I've also got there in the description of the live. So if you're looking for a nice, good quality paint, these are great. Okay, so there we go. I might do his eyes again because they look a little light in colour. And put the lid back on that. Get this one again. There we go. It sort of just makes it a little bit more solid because we're painting over black. The white, you just tend to need an extra coat or two. Okay. Let's have a look at our little crow. Very cute. I think it's cute. Let me see. Up the right way. I've got some little flecks of white there that have just flecked off. Where's our word? So this will be from the word stencils that come with the bundle. Put these down to get cleaned off. And we'll use this with black again, makes it stand out. He doesn't look like a scary crow. He looks so cute. Now my brush could be a bit big for this area, but we'll try it. Make sure I don't go over the edge. And I'm just going, see, straight up and down and just doing a little bit of a swirly motion. I'm just being very careful that my brush doesn't go over the edge. Although, there's another idea. It wouldn't matter if it didn't, because we could do a little border around that, make it like a fun little sign. Let's try that. So now that I've got most of the paint off the brush, and I've got fairly well covered, I'm just going to add this for an extra detail. Let me see if I can show that. So I'm going to just go around. I've got hardly anything on the brush now because I've mostly got it all off on here. But I'm going to go be a little daring and create a little border around the outside of the sign so it makes a little sign. So see how my brush is now just touching the outside, and it's looking a little bit cloudy, dusty. It's not solid black, so you're not seeing big black streaks there, but you could go straight. It could go straight like this, but I'm doing some little swirls, so it's kind of a little puffy cloud of black, and going around there. So it creates a bit of a 3D shadowy look, like he's got a little sign above his head. I'll turn it around this way, and then make that go off the edge. That sort of goes off the edge a bit. A little bit darker. There we go. And now you can see the border that we've created there. Looks like he's got a little sign above his head. So then we could go with that same brush that's got hardly any paint on it. We could go across the edges and just antique the sign a little bit. Just creating a bit of, could even do it on the sides of the board. And then in the corners to create a bit of a aged look in the corners. It's starting to run out of paint on the brush. You could always add more, but be very careful if you do that, because when you add a bit more paint, you want to really offload that a lot, because you don't want to all of a sudden have big black streaks along the side of your paint, of your work. So adding that shadow in there. Got to push a little harder sometimes if it's, you can see even black crumbs coming off because the paint's dried on the brush. But there we go. I think I can add a bit more here. There, what a cute little crow. All right, next we still have 10 minutes, got a little bit of time. I've got one more project I want to try and transfer, so let's pop that one over here. Got our scarecrow, and now we've got a round. Now my round, I want to say, is about, well, the stencil's 10 inches, it's probably 11 inches I think, 11 and a half I think these rounds are. But a 12-inch round would work really well as well. And this is the a one-off. This is also in the fall stencil collection. And I'm going to be using this. Let's do that. Don't have any hooks on the back to kind of make it properly ready. Now, I will need a bit of painter's tape, or I can use my card stock to just, I want to tape off those little leaf designs, because what I would like to do is add something from our beautiful Autumn Flowers transfers on there. So let's have a look at those and see what might fit. So each of the transfers comes with 2 sheets, including those 2 gorgeous big trucks. We've got lady beetles on here. We've got acorns. Oh, how cute. Sometimes, you know, you just don't see what's on the transfers until you pull them out and start to look at them. We've got some little bits of wheat, I think it is. Beautiful fall leaves. So that will be in the transfer bundle. And I might put something like this over on the side to replace those little leaves. So you can see how you can use them as a stencil, or you can tape off those stenciled parts and then add a transfer in there just to replace those little designs. See, like that. What else could we put here? We could put one of the wheats, but I think that that could be a little big. We might need something a little smaller. Even a daisy, although I'm doing it on white, so it still might work. What do you think? Do you love them? Do you love the fall colours? I do too. We could even do something like this that's just really thin and would still come up the side, and it would work nicely as well. I love how Essential Stencil just fills every little space, and look, there's little acorns here. You could just add them to the same bit or somewhere else, but see, that could work too, coming out like this. So let's leave those for a minute. We'll just quickly go with our black over here, and I will use my little piece of black cardstock that I had somewhere. It wasn't there. Where did it go, guys? Here it is. And I will just, instead of taping that off, because I didn't bring my tape out with me. We've got our black cardboard again. The flowers are beautiful. If you saw the beginning of our live, if you missed it, go back and watch the replay. I'll show you all of the different transfer sets that will be available in the transfer bundle, including some gorgeous vintage trucks and butterflies and rust flowers and burgundy flowers, some little gnomes and woodland creatures. So many fun transfers this time. Let's see. Oh, just have a little bit off there. I'm hoping I didn't have too much on my brush then. Every now and then I just go for it and think, oh, did I really offload enough? This is a lovely, just single set stencil that will be good to combine with a whole lot of the other transfers and things, I think. Nice and gently swirling, and we, oops. Move this up here because I was going to leave this part off, and I don't want to accidentally get my brush on there. The cardboard is also good for at the edges, or you can use painter's tape, like I have done that quite a lot. I just didn't happen to bring it out of my workshop today. This stencil is in the fall collection, the 2025 fall collection, that is about to be released on Saturday. And so it is called, whatever the name of it is, Always Something to be Thankful for. There is always something to be thankful for. And so it is a great words for Thanksgiving, but also year round, right? Because there is always something to be thankful for. Just making sure I'm getting over those, making sure they're nice and solid, the colours, and then we'll add some transfers right where those leaves are on the stencil. I'm going to leave those off this time, so you can always just leave, pop them on for your own stenciling purposes. But for this, I'm going to add just some to the side here instead of the stencil. So we're finished with our brush for today. Oop. And I'll just grab a couple of our fall designs. Now they had the leaf coming up here, but really I could just go anywhere with these. So yeah, let me just pop that down. Put a little transfer right in here. Grab my transfer tool if you don't have one of those from Essential Stencil. They are also on the site. They're a great burnishing tool. You might find them great for any of your other crafting needs too, if you're needing something like this. And then we just pick up the transfer, and the pattern just transfers right onto the board. So this is Fusion Mineral Paint Casement. We've got coal black on here, and then we've got our transfer right there. We've cut this one out, and I think that would look lovely just here, or it could sit in here.
I know that the other leaf was down here. There's so many things to choose from on this. I know, right? The wheat. I don't know, I feel like it doesn't fit quite well there. It would go nicely there. What else have we got? There's the wheat as well. That's sort of, this is leaning this way. Let's have a look at the little dandelion. I love this beautiful bouquet right there. That's cute too. Let's take these two out. Oh, and there's a lady beetle right there. We could add a lady beetle somewhere on here, couldn't we? Let's see how those wheat look. What do you think? And you could even put the wheat, make them lean over the, oh, it still looks better around here. Like the wheat edges will go right in. Don't go anywhere, because at the end of our live we're going to give away prizes to some lucky winners. I feel like either of these would sit right in this spot better, don't you think? Maggie, you love the yellow leaf. Add some ladybugs and acorns here and there. I could. You like it down more, Donna. Like down here. It could even go down there. Or the wheat could even go down here. Or we could add one of these down here. We could add that down here. Look, I might even just add that. You could just play around with this so much. I'm just going to add a little something down the bottom of here. Transfer that on. Where could we put some ladybugs? Maybe on one of the letters, sitting on top of one of the capital letters or a word or something. Or a flourish from a word. Something tiny. We could sit a little acorn right inside that S. Well, it's an acorn top of an acorn. You love how it's turning out? Thanks, Lisa. Thanks for your confidence. Simple and elegant, Maggie said. Yeah, some of these are just really, if you put too much on, I think less is more sometimes. I'm going to pop that little acorn right here inside the S. I think I could just use my thumbnail sometimes on these, and it works just as well as the burnisher. Look, isn't that cute? I think we can add a few more things on there, but you get the idea. We're a lady beetle. There you go. Where could we put lady? I need to have something more over here, so maybe she could be crawling up the side of these letters. Or inside. Maybe outside, I think. There we go. But you get the idea. You can just do so much with the transfers, just adding a little bit here and there. I may add some more if I look at it the right way up after the live. And if you're on the Stencil of the Month Club and you've joined the Facebook group there, I'll usually pop a picture of whatever we've made on tonight's live in the group. So let's see if I can just pop that back up. And we are going to choose some winners now for our live. And I'm going to show you what we worked on. So here are our designs for tonight. We did very simple, the gathering place, which is a cute fall. Now all of these are in the fall bundle that's going to drop on Saturday. Ooh! On Saturday, 2nd of February, so don't miss it. And don't forget to use my code, I Restore Stuff, and get your 10% off the whole bundle. So the bundle is already at a really discounted rate, and then you can also get the 10% off that as well. So then there's also the transfer bundle, and so some of the transfers we used on this sign There's a beautiful truck. Go back and have a look, or check the link that's right there in the comments or in the pinned comment. And the link is also in the description of the live. So I'm just looking for our winners here. Thank you. Thanks so much, everybody, for being here tonight. I'm just reading your comments right here. Great project, said Donna. Thank you. And I love the crow too. It's going to be a favourite. The gathering place, a really cute sign. It's a really deep sign, so that's looking great. Let me know if you see our winners. You're so welcome, Maggie. Thanks, Diane. Fall's your favourite season. Jennifer says, can hardly wait. Yeah, if you wanted to stay up till midnight on Friday night, you could place your order after midnight using my code I Restore Stuff. Use the links that I've added there today. So our winners tonight have won a $20 gift card from Essential Stencils, which you could use on Saturday for the fall bundle. So those winners are, and I've just disappeared on me, Danette, Jennifer and Tracy. So if you see your name there in our winners list, if you know these people, tag them. Danette, Jennifer and Tracy. Email support@essentialstencil.com to claim your prize. Let them know that you were a winner on Sharon's live tonight, and they'll send you your gift card. And happy shopping, ladies. So thank you so much all for joining me tonight. I'll see you again next week. Maybe we'll do some more fall. Everyone's loving the fall. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again. You can follow me at I Restore Stuff on any social media platform.